Hello everybody, it's Friday night and it is Weekender time once more, and we have a ton of stuff going on, including the last weekend of our Terrain Fest for 2023. Because of that, we've got a few Brucey bonuses for you. Ooh! First up, we have two prizes. One can be won here on OnTableTop.com and the other on YouTube by commenting below. If you comment on both places, then you're in with a chance to win both prizes, if you're lucky. So we have from Archon Studios, the Ramparts City Rune set. That is available to a winner on YouTube. And we also have the Elven Woods and Land of the Giants to make a fantasy tabletop worthy of Moonstone over on tabletop.com. And if you're not lucky enough to be a winner, fear not, for Archon Studios have also gifted us a 10% code for all our viewers. It's running for the next 2 weeks. So from the moment you see this, you should be able to go over to the Archon Studios store and use it there. It is on Tabletop 10, on Tabletop 10, all capital letters, no spaces. It's probably floating around me as I speak, thanks to the editor. And you can use that to get yourself a bit of a discount, maybe for next year's Terrain Fest project or the Spring Clean Challenge. Either way, you're good to go. And so are we. So sit back and relax, because your weekend starts here. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Weekender. I'm joined this week by Brother Lloyd.
Hello.
And Justin.
Hola.
To take a hop, skip, and a jump through the last 7 days' worth of hobby news from across the industry. You've been having a good week so far, folks?
Well, yeah, not bad. I finished getting my orc army ready.
Finished getting your orc army
I
ready?
didn't know you were doing an orc army.
Yeah, I'm doing an orc army. I mean, it's Orctober, so if I was doing it right, I would have it finished in time. But unfortunately,
Spooky-tober.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's Terrain Fest, so that has been taking up my time instead.
Look at you battling two things at once.
It's madness.
First.
That'll never catch on, huh?
Multi-project? No.
No. Not
Speaking of
today,
Terrain
not
Fest,
ever.
it's like the last weekend's coming up for that. It's ending next week, isn't it?
It is. It is ending on Tuesday. For
Yes.
that is Halloween. And then we'll be taking a look through the Terrain Festy entrance in the project system, some of which you can see here.
Yes, winners and wonderfulness will be announced next week.
Yeah. Once I've had a chance to actually look and see. Obviously, some people are right on board because they've done clever things like making a river for games like Saga, for example. I mean, right off the bat, that makes sense. I've seen
Playing to the audience.
I've seen some Moonstone being name dropped in places, although they did follow that up with 3D printing. So you give with one hand, you take away with the other.
Good, but less good.
I was told to make a project. He was told by me, in fact, and he did it, which at least shows he's listening. And that's the main thing, really, isn't it? But
someone photoshopped Moonstone. Lloyd, someone re-photoshopped your Photoshop.
Yeah, I see that.
It's Photoshops all the way down. So yeah, if you're interested in getting involved in the Terrainular Festival, there's no reason why you can't start over the weekend. Even if you don't get your project complete, maybe it'll give you the impetus to push on with it and try something out over the next few months anyway. So,
I love that aircraft crash board.
Oh, you can't see that now, though. That's not for the likes of you.
Well, I have to go hunting.
Yeah.
You'll find
it over at www.ontabletop.com. I know you don't often go there, but if you go there and you click on projects, you'll be able to find them all below. It's madness, mate. Stuff.
That's the part of the internet where you roll up the windows and lock the doors.
Look, by the magic of editing, look, there's a URL right in the middle of the screen for you.
Wow.
Look, that's where you need to go.
It's fun times. So yeah, there's been some fantastic projects in there already. I'm sure there's more to come. And a few people have even completed stuff. Other people have gone, look, I know I'm not going to finish this, but at least it's given me the impetus to put stuff on the table and start working on it rather than just ignoring it while I ignore painting more and more miniatures.
Well, Justin's wrapped. He's done.
Oh yeah, I finished mine up. I mean, fine. It's not flawless, but I'm happy to say it's a playable table.
All 4 parts, all right, of your video?
All 4 parts, right? Yep.
So if you want to see like the True Gamers 40k table, Justin has like a little vlog series on the channel for you.
I look forward to seeing the first bat report on it. When are you filming that?
Well, once I get my orcs painted.
Then we can see if it is truly a gamer's table then. Huh?
Well, I mean, John and Shay have been playing games on it, so they seem to think it works well enough.
Sorry,
it works like some form of gaming table.
That's it. Just you outsource the testing to other people.
Delegation, man.
Did you win, Shay?
I did. I won twice.
Twice.
Who did you play?
John.
That wouldn't be that hard then.
Shot fired.
Harsh.
More shots than John probably fired.
So what's the crack then? Have you got all the shooting and he's got no cover to hide behind because he's only squishy human guard?
No, he's the astronaut armor. He is all the shooting.
No, he is all the shooting.
I know he doesn't have enough cover, but my guys are tankier.
Did he shoot you with all his stuff or just stop shooting you at some point?
Oh no, he kept shooting me. They just didn't.
Good.
I like the idea that you just stood there and took it all in the face until eventually he just gives up and just goes, I can't be bothered anymore. This isn't working.
Let's be honest, the dice gods, sometimes they love Shane. It's just like, no, you live forever.
He's standing there. I've shot my entire load of everything at you, and you're still coming at me. There's nothing I can do.
The Sisters of Battle don't stop. They never stop.
Well, that's how things go. Well, we shall look forward to seeing the actual Let's Play in the not too distant future then. When should we pencil it in for? End of November? You said your orcs are almost done.
No. They're built, they're primed.
Oh man, so I mean,
they're ready for first green coat.
So they're nowhere near done.
So get hammered through.
Built and primed is good.
That's fine.
It's way closer than I ever get to doing 40k armies.
It's good times. Good times will be had by all, I'm sure. And we'll say maybe in the new year, maybe you can surprise us all with a game in January then, Justin.
Maybe.
See?
Hello. We'll see how that goes.
So what would you want? That's like a quarter of a year away, practically. Oh, my word. Anyway, enough
Well,
of
I mean, if I'm doing it for a video, I can then use work time, so hey.
Let's not be too hasty now.
There we go. There's your problem.
That's not a problem. It's your hobby. You do it, man. Right. Enough of that. It's time to get into the show proper. And we're going to be kicking things off, as always, with our Indie of the Week. And this week, we're actually going to be taking a look at some stuff from Archon Studios for Terrain Fest. I know you're shocked. It's like we've tied it all together with a neat bow over the last 4 weeks. So, apart from doling out a whole host of miniatures and even some big chunky board games, Archon have run a couple of Kickstarters previously to put together a host of terrain. In this case, we have the science fiction, comes via the medium of a Rampart, which is all their modular stuff. Then they also have the dungeon and lasers sets that Warren is very keen on. So, thought it'd be an interesting opportunity to have a little browse through. Now, Sci-Fi is, I'm not going to say it's underdeveloped, but when you compare it to what's coming for Dungeons and Lasers, I imagine at some point in the not too distant, they're probably going to revisit this set in a big way and do some more with it, because the modular terrain is really nice, but there's a lot more that they could start to explore with it. So here you can see the sort of happy-go-lucky, scrappy city rune set, which contains all sorts of weirdness from beat up, strange post-apocalyptic cars to teleporting gates, statues, signage, scrap, all sorts of things. A warp warlock, I assume is that blue thing there.
I would assume yes.
You'll never know for certain though.
Or perhaps the one at the back.
But yeah, the Rampart system, obviously this is a big Galvi bucket of scatter, but they've a shed load of other bits and pieces in there, including the city runes, which is one of this week's prizes.
Ooh, very nice.
So this is great for your likes of 40k, Firefight, Dead Zone, things like that. Necro, even things like Urban War, which are coming later on, where the stuff is generically sci-fi enough that you could use it for everything from post-apocalyptic to far future. So your Stargraves, your Zona Alphas, they're all covered by this because they've just got enough different sort of styles and textures in there that allows you to sort of creep in and paint them up any which way you want to. What I want to do is scroll up and down there, but I can't. Can I grab it? I can. There we go.
Yeah. What I like with this is they've put enough terrain on the box that they're thinking of the types of games people play these days. So is it skirmish? Is it big battle? Does the terrain kit do all of it?
Yeah. And it's also, as you can see there, magnet friendly. You don't have to. You can build it with plastic plugs and glue it all together. But it means if you do play multiple different types of games, so if you play some skirmish games like Dead Zone, but also play the one-page rules, Grimdark, and you want to be able to change it from lots of little tight cubes and explore between that and then sort of large buildings that are more for blocking off areas rather than exploring through, you can do both with it, which is really nice. They also do this vertical expansion that you can use to start going uphill and down dale. Of this I really like because it includes all the stuff that you need in life: stairs, ramps, and gantries to push people off. Where's Ben? I miss Ben pushing people off buildings.
Are you sure he's not here because you pushed him off a building?
There's no way to know for certain. So yeah, there's that sort of side of things within the ramparts, which obviously you can see a whole host, including the much more Gothic style Eternal Cathedral. So,
although, ooh, sorry, unrelated. That. I see that Mammoth Walker.
I don't want quick view. I want to see that. Show me that. While you're showing me that, where's my Eternal Cathedral? There's my Eternal Cathedral. So this is obviously spot on for the likes of Young Shay with the Sisters of Battle, because you've got to have something to defend, something that the Imperial Guard have absolutely smashed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably that. Just imagine one moment you're saying your prayers, you're doing your rosary with your other little sisters, and the next thing, all of your walls have exploded. And then there's John firing ineffectually at you until you kill him and all his men.
Let's see that other image. Keep going through these images. I want to see the other layouts. Do you know what we can do for you here, Shay? We can help you out with a discount code as well.
Oh my.
A discount code for Shay.
I believe we have a discount code for this stuff, don't we?
For the team or for everybody?
No.
I'll go one better. It's for everybody watching. There is a discount code from Archon for their web store. So it doesn't just have to be spent on terrain. You can get other things as well if you like big giant monsters and stuff. And it's valid for 2 weeks from today if you use the promo code OnTableTop10, all capital letters, no spaces. So OnTableTop10, you'll get 10% off at the Archon store. So you can fill your boots with all sorts of things like the Cobalt Foundry or parts north thereof. And that's quite nice as well. That's got very Necromunda / Kill Team feel to it as well, with all the pipery going in there.
I'd nearly get a couple of sets of this and start using it for some core space.
Yes, that would work as well. You too can explore the inner core with these. And these are all set to a specific size as well. So we used a lot of this to build a massive 40k city, pretty much.
18 feet long.
So
5 foot tall.
Wall sections, corner sections, and sort of buttressing is all interchangeable. Obviously, if you start putting Eternal City stuff onto the Cobalt industrial parts, it may look a bit wacky, but then the 41st millennium is a wacky place filled with wacky things, so there's no reason why you can't do that. So that's an idea of the sort of sci-fi side of things that Archon do. They also do the fantasy side through Dungeon and Lasers. And this this is where they're right up Main Street. Though I was saying that I think the Ramparts is going to get a big revisit. The amount of additional stuff they've done with dungeons and miniatures into the fantasy side is immense. But we're just going to have a look at terrain right now. If you want to see those other bits, you have to click on them yourself. I know.
Sorcerer's Spire is nice.
Sorcerer's Spire is amazing. In fact, there's quite a lot of amazing in here. That in and of itself is absolutely humongous. It's the sort of thing that Warren and Lloyd would build if left to their own devices.
It's the sort of thing Warren would build.
How tall can we make something? How many ways can we make something giant?
How much additional girth can we add to this?
I would be like, I think it's tall enough now, and he'd be like, no, it's not.
Because I think each of those sections is, I want to say it's around 2.5 inch tall. I think there's measurements somewhere anyway. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus a couple of roofs bits. So
10.
you know, it's you get your tape measure out. It's 550 mil high, so easily 1.5 feet, if not a bit more.
I think it actually says below that 21.5 inches.
Yeah, I try and avoid reading that. Yeah, it just hurt my eyes.
21.5.
So big it wouldn't even fit. Anyway,
Let's see
big centerpieces like this really, really work, as well as all the incidentals.
Incidentals, your ancient runes, great for scatter, great for all sorts of games. Look, there's little Bretonian huts and everything.
I noticed that.
For your old
Ogre
world.
huts.
Could be ogre, could be orcs. You could use them for your orcs.
Mm-hmm.
Rich in details. Show me some of your details, what you're rich in. I really like these, the creepy bramble bushes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's because it reminds me of Warcraft. There's that area with all of that filth out in the barrens. You just run into a world of tangly vines that you didn't want to end up in. And then some scumbag from Anhansa would arrive.
There's like a dehydrated Audrey too in the middle.
Yeah, just there. Crying out to be fed. Feed me, Seymour. Feed me. But I mean, this scatter stuff is absolutely spot on for any fantasy game where you just need some line of sight blocking things, which is always nice to have. And then there's the more comprehensive builds like the Wizard Spire or, in this case, a little village pack, including the Shroom Shack. That's a little old place where we can get together. The Shroom Shack, maybe Shroom Shack.
Keep going across. Let's go to the next image. There we go, because now we can see them bigger.
And I really like it because it goes from the regular fantasy sort of stone buildings, the old blue tiles, classic look. You've got a touch of the Viking with the A-frames, or what's that game the kids all play on the PC? Oblivion?
Oh, Skyrim.
Sure. Because don't they have like fantasy Vikings?
PUBG.
They do.
PUBG.
That too. So you've got that sort of look, but you've also got the insanity that is a giant mushroom shack. Great for witches, good for goblins, fantastic for Moonstone, the multi-award winning game.
Some kind of shaman living in there.
Could be that. But
let's see the rivers. I want to see those rivers.
You want to see the modular river.
Ooh, I also want to see that tavern.
And a tavern as well. It's want with people.
Yeah.
Skip on and have a look.
He's just being nice, sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
He doesn't count, and he knows he doesn't count.
Oh, I have my cathedral. I'm happy.
Next image. Go to the big one where it's all built. Keep going. That's the one I want to see. Is it a clear blue plasticky thing that comes with that, or do you paint that, or what is that?
No, I think that's painted. Because I think it's just a standard.
Are you sure about that? Because I can see through to the actual connection point, so it looks like a blue inlay type thing.
Well, let's go to the back of the box and see. How about that? The tempting call of the crystal waters. Spinning around the window's peak. So, river sections, tail sections, and yes, clear plastic is the secret ingredient that makes your water look even more realistic.
Yes.
So
I wonder if that clips in separately.
on
'Cause
top of
that-
the stones. I think
yeah.
it does.
Because if it clipped in separately, you could print out little fish and stuff.
I just put some little fairy lights in below it, Lloyd.
Why do you want to put lights in things? You people need to stop putting lights in things.
Does it need RGB and everything these days?
Oh my god! Just the
Okay,
absolute
this
worst.
looks fabulous.
The Scales and Ales Tavern.
Mm-hmm.
It's certainly imbigulated, isn't it? I mean, if I went there, I wouldn't go on an adventure. I'd just stay in the tavern, thanks.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. It looks like the basement's there, so whenever you have to pay your bar tab and you can't, you can just go kill some rats for the owner.
Killing some rats for the owner. Again, it's similar to Rampart's Dungeon Laser has a set wall size, which means you can build together these in a variety of modular ways. So even though they've set it up like this, you don't have to actually build it like that. You can go full Lego with it if you want to.
It's like this size, is it? Does it say 48 centimeters?
We'll see the sizing in a minute as we go through the various levels, out of the basement, into the upper floors where the nice people live, and then into the very roof where the scumbag servants live. Unlucky servants.
Under the eaves.
You must live out your life there. You can see a fat man with
For scale.
Fat man for scale. It's a good way of doing it.
And he does have some eels.
I wouldn't like living under servants. You'd see their poos flying past your window. I wouldn't like that
as
at
they
all.
heek them out. No, they have to carry them downstairs themselves.
No, they would just chuck them out of the bucket. I lived under someone who smoked a lot, and they kept throwing fag butts down, and they would just drift past my window. That was annoying enough. Imagine having a big bucket of turds.
That's because he wasn't
chucked
one
out
of your
the window.
servants. If he relied on you for room, shelter, and pay, then you would just go up and go do that again, and you're out in your ear. And that's what you can do with servants. That's the great thing about servants. Everybody should have some. So there you go. It is 25 centimeters tall and 48 centimeters long. Scales and Ales. It's a bit cracking, that is.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a castle.
There is
Stronghold.
A castle, the Grand Stronghold. Presumably you want to have a look at that, considering the way you're screaming at me. Also want to open up some of the smaller.
Oh, there's a sewer
pieces.
set. Does it have transparent green?
We'll never know, because I've gone past it now. I know, it's terrible, isn't it? You two can make your own Grand Stronghold.
And throw your poo out the window.
And throw your poo, as you say, out the window. And there's so many windows to pick from. I mean, you just get lost wandering various levels of the castle over and over, thinking, will I go out to this window? Oh, no, I can see a gardener. Then you rush to the next window, and unfortunately he's moved to a further hedge. And you rush to another window, and now you're just chasing him. Although he doesn't realize he's being chased / stalked by somebody with a bucket of poo.
That's all. Is the plaster work built into that, or is that all castle wall? Is the plaster stuff an option?
Well, from the upper levels.
It's in. I see it. It's in it now. Yeah, I can see it now.
So, because obviously,
which is kind of a cool addition.
You build it up in various layers, the same way as the tavern went. The bottom layer is the same sort of dungeon set / brickwork and stonework, and then as you go higher, you can add in other levels. There's no reason why you couldn't top this off with some of the plaster and wood stuff as well.
That's it. Most people don't realize that castles used to be white, not stone.
Well,
they used to have
dull stone,
plastered white castles. Yeah. That's what they were.
Yeah,
I guess it all rendered.
Yeah, and then it just all wore off like that.
Yeah,
and it didn't bother again. So now everyone thinks castles were like stone. No, they were big bloody white things.
Same as Roman statuary.
Yeah,
it wasn't just left all marbly. Everybody got in there and painted them up in a riotous color. And now they've all just been weathered away over the years, and everything's Rome must have been a very white place, very, very bright. You get up in the morning with a hangover, and all is reflective marble.
It'd be like stepping out into snow.
Yeah,
apart from all the turds floating down the street.
Apart from the turds, suffering the old marble blindness in the morning. Oh, marble blindness is the worst. But some of the interior pieces and bits and bobs they do as well. Obviously, this is for playing Pathfinder / RPGs incorrectly with miniatures. But they have a
Did someone say PUBG?
You did several times. I still don't know what you mean, but I'm not willing to explore that.
Let it slide.
But an interesting thing they've done is these are half height walls. So if you're building a complex to fight through or to move miniatures through, you don't have to worry about trying to get your fingers into a very narrow space with high walls. It makes actual gameplay much easier, which is a nice little option.
Yeah.
Doors, I like the fact doors are still full height,
And it looks like they actually swing.
They can swing. And like the other stuff, it's the same modular setup. So you can mix and match between your creepy dungeon places and your spectacular blocking building terrain. Because it can all be
snap
done.
fit, which is nice, so you can leave it so that you can just break it fully down and rebuild it in a different way.
Or, like I said, you can magnetize those as well. The plugs for the magnets are the option. There's that fat guy again. Hello. He's been painted now. He's being stalked by somebody with a bucket of poo. You can tell.
Definitely, I think magnets are going to be a good friend to you for this set.
Why am I getting a urinal feeling here?
Because you're good like that, Lloyd. So, Dwarven Mine, again, a whole barrel load of stuff to just dress your set or scenery.
Oh dear, that guy's had a better day. Squished under a rock.
He's not too bad. Don't worry about him. He can walk that off.
Sorry, they weren't unionized. It's fine.
The problem is he won't make any money because they only pay him whenever his pick's actually swinging. And if he's going to laze around on the ground with some sort of rock duvet over the top of him, then
he does look rather comfortable.
There's no more cash coming in for today for you, matey boy.
But he's so warm and comfy.
He is warm and, as you say, comfy. So there's some of the other bits and pieces that they do, like the customization for the fantasy sets and the vaults as well. And this was the early sort of Dungeons and Laser stuff that was all mix and matchable, including things like alien-based terrain. So if you want to play a bit of Gale Force 9's Alien game, and you actually want to build your whole xenomorphy center, then you can get right in there and start running away with Newt. Run screaming as other better people are chewed up by the xenomorphs behind you.
Those doors are freaking me out.
Well, they would do, wouldn't you?
You need to build a nuclear reactor over the top now.
Is that the sort of thing you'd want to do? Because if I remember correctly, do they really like heat? It's probably best not to warm them up anymore.
Oh, no. You could use your flamethrowers. That was fine. You just couldn't use the clips in your guns.
Oh, okay. That's that case, yeah. Yeah, no 40mm grenade launchers coming in here.
Sorry, magazines, because they're not actually called clips.
No, I mean, you can call it a clip if you want.
No, technically it's a magazine. It's not a clip.
I know, but...
A detail. The landscape is terrain.
But how else would people complain in the comments if we don't give them something to complain about, Lloyd?
I'm complaining right now myself for calling them clips. They're not clips, they're magazines.
So...
Lovely stuff.
As you can see, Archon's been working on a whole host for some time now.
They still have tanks and stuff that you can buy.
Have tanks. Oh, yeah. They've got tanks, they've got miniatures, they've got monsters. The dragons are particularly spanking, so I won't click on those. It may want to revisit some other time. But they've added a whole...
Wow, look at the stagecoach.
Galvy bucket load of things since then, which you can drop in. I mean, the fire chicken's particularly nice. Stagecoach is absolutely cracking.
Don't they have a pack of 3 tanks, though? Is this the guys who make the tanks that Mantic are reselling?
Yeah. Correctamundo, mein Freund.
Lovely little tinker's wagon.
You too can be mugged while transporting your goods from point A to point B in a fantasy world. That's how the magic happens, they tell me. Go on then. I'll show you a tank, because otherwise you'll cry all day and nobody wants you to cry.
Yeah, Wolverine tank. Yeah.
So there's the Wolverine.
Doesn't this make multiple options, this one set, does it? Or was that was a Mantic thing, was it?
The Mantic did resin add-on packs to...
So they took this and expanded into 3 types of tank or something, didn't they?
Yeah. So you've got mainline battle tank / APC, and then there's a couple of alternate weapon versions on it. Look, it's got a belly.
Oh, wow.
That'll never catch on. Have it got bottom to your miniature? What? Wow. They have been working on a few other bits, and this is part of this week's prize as well. So this will not be out yet. This is coming to the backers very shortly, but this is the creepy giant world, the land of the giants. And I think this would be particularly nice for something like Conquest, where it's got that bigger scale, and you've got this huge cyclopean-looking details that are also going to rack and ruin. It could have been something that the Old Dominion had put together before the nation collapsed. So you get these big, spectacular looks of many steps and pillars and arches. And I quite like the guy standing on the hand. That's cute. Look at that. Don't need a hill. Have a set of steps going up to a palm instead.
Your archers can take turns.
Yeah, so the range that they've been working on is constantly expanding. The Swamp of Doom and the Elven Forest is already out. So that is on the website. The Land of the Giants can't be far away. So if you're looking to play something particularly sort of Warcry-esque or Age of Sigmar, or obviously this stuff is cracking for playing Fairies and Fawns in Moonstone, the multi-award winning game, then they've got you covered across the board. So there we have it.
Well, what was that discount code again? Because I think I might need some tanks.
It's OnTableTop 10, and it runs for 2 weeks.
And gets you what, 10% off?
10% off on their web store. So yes, you can absolutely fill your boots, or maybe you'll be jammy. Maybe you'll win either the Fantasy Encounter set or the Rampart set that are the prizes for this week. You'll win one on Tabletop and one on YouTube. So get your comments in on both. Double your chance of winning. And with that in mind, we're going to take a look at some news.
Coming to you from the center of Northwestern Europe. Covering board games, war games, card games, and all that you love. It's the news.
All right, we're going to be starting off the news then with a bit of Napoleonic fantasy. So Signum Games have announced that they will be coming to Napoleonica, Steel and Magic soon. They've just shipped the Fantasy Commander game that myself and Shay played last year. In fact, I got my Kickstarter copy 2 weeks ago. So well done me.
I swear, you feel like you're addicted to Kickstarter, Jerry. There's always something coming in the post.
No, there's plenty of things I've skipped. I will skip. But if I like it, I'll back it. That's how that one goes.
That's fair.
This one, unlike Fantasy Commander, is 28 mil. So the idea behind it is just before what would have been Le Revolution kicking off in our world, some sort of crazy void crashed into the earth and ruptured it, bringing in some sort of abyssal chaotic entities who are hell-bent on destroying the world. So the idea behind Napoleonica is there's going to be British and French, a chaos and an order of good, the Nephilim, and it's a 28 mil game, but still plays out on a hex grid. So it'll be interesting to see where it falls, because Fantasy Commander is obviously squads or unit based with lots of little 20 mil figures. The larger 28 mil game that myself and Shay played recently, Warseer, is individual sort of heroes and characters. So don't know if it's going to use either of those particular rule sets tweaked, or if they're going to have a whole new one for this. But you'll be able to field a whole variety of easily identifiable Napoleonic units alongside some less so. So maybe your French Old Guard get a selection of Wolf and Grenadiers to run alongside them, or the Fey Order troops, the Nephilim, will be in there as well. So the game itself is due to play 1 to 4 players. So there'll be a solo narrative mode, a 2-player version, and also a 4-player clash as well. So you can mix and match between them to your heart's content and see whether or not you can stop the encroaching evil of chaos. Or
any more picks?
Not of individual figures. Those are the only ones they've shown so far.
What was the top pick?
So that first one.
Yeah, the very top pick. Let's go back to the very top one.
That one.
Top of the post.
Oh, top of the post. Sorry. The
Oh, this is the actual cover work, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the cover work for lovely little Napoleon himself.
That's not something I've really seen much of, is blending magical fantasy style stuff with Napoleonics. You know, like really accurate, like historical Napoleonics.
Well, Flintlock, I've been doing it 4 years, alternative armies do it. But they have no humans, it's all fantasy creatures kicking around in a Napoleonic world. Obviously, Silver Bayonet added in the horror side of things to stuff. But it's interesting because I've seen a few people commenting going, oh no, we shouldn't be adding fantasy to Napoleonics. And I'm baffled as to why Napoleonics gets a pass, because everybody's quite happy for Ancients, Dark Ages, War of the Roses, any of those can be used as a basis for fantasy.
Even more modern stuff, World War II style.
Well, yeah. But all of a sudden it's like, no, we shouldn't be adding the fantasy to Napoleonics. Apparently there's some sort of law against it. Who knows what that's going to be? But yeah, I'm fascinated to see where they go.
But Hollywood's allowed to do it.
Well, Hollywood get away with things sometimes.
It's maybe the old beardy gamers going, no, I don't want someone else to be coming in to play Napoleonics and bring a fantasy Napoleonic army against my super accurate to this regiment in this battle.
What do you mean sometimes? So the new Napoleon movie's coming out.
Yeah. Oh, it does look good though. Oh no, that looks like it's going to be absolutely banging.
It does look good. Napoleon's like 50 in it. Well, he shouldn't really be.
That's Joaquin Phoenix for you, you know. They'll drop it whatever. Well, I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm also interested to see where Signum go with that Napoleonica as well in the long run. I believe it's come to Kickstarter. You can sign up to be notified on the release of it if you're interested. But the figures are always absolutely spanking anyway. So even if you just fancy adding something a bit weird or wacky in, or if you're playing Silver Bayonet and you're looking to add a werewolf, then why not add one that's in full French Old Guard outfit? You know, just go the whole hog, as the man says. Live with it. Deal with it.
I mean, I'm fine with that. I love the look and the style.
Moving on, but staying in a more traditional historic, is Warlord Game. They've announced Covenanters are coming for Warlords Pike and Shotte. So this is their epic. So they 11.7592578 millimeter or whatever ridiculous size it is. The epic scale. But this will add in a whole bunch of Pike.
The 13.5.
Is it? Whatever I can't. They've given it some nonsense scale.
The best scale.
It's not the best scale by a long shot.
Look at it. It's the best.
I'll tell you why it's not the best. If I can only get models from one company for historical range, that's not the best. If I can pick and choose from multiple companies all making stuff at a scale, that's the best scale.
I will say the horses, the cavalry, they look a little bit pudgy.
Well, they've just obviously been eating a lot of haggis. But the Covenanters, then obviously the on-side for the parliamentarians in the English Civil War or War of the Three Kingdoms, depending on how you're feeling on any given day. This starting battalion will give you everything you need to get a solid core down onto the tabletop with obviously Scots Lancers and skirmishers and Covenanter, what do they call them? It's pot of fire. The big cannon without the wheels on them. Apart from the battalion, they're also going to be releasing a starter army as well, which is kind of funky in case you just want to do it all in one go. Maybe you don't want to add a solid core of Scots Covenanters. Maybe you just want to go the whole hog and go, I'm just going to have all of the army right now. Thank you very much.
The whole haggis in this case.
The whole haggis.
Yeah, steal the whole sheep.
So these will contain more of the plastics. So your Lancers, Dragoons, gun teams, and the battalion commanders, along with the Pike and Shotte regiments. But on top of that, you'll also get some resins in the form of the Marquis of Argyll, Lord Leven, and a Calvinist minister as well. So
and the dead people.
They're floating around there. And yes, you'll get your little casualty markers so you can keep track of who's been shot in the face by who.
So this is an era of history that I've never really had a close look at. But it does look like it could be fun for your games.
Yeah, I mean, the English Civil War always has its fans out there, especially with the likes of Seal Not reenactors. You always get an opportunity to dander around the place and poke people with massive pointy sticks from a distance. To sling up against them, there are Montrose Scots as well. So these are the Royalists. This allows you to paint a whole hodgepodge of figures, substantially less, you may notice, than the Covenanter side. These are an interesting group led by an interesting man. So Montrose had been part of the Covenanters at the start. He signed the Solemn League and Covenant against Charles, and even rode alongside Leven. And then later on, I'd say defected, but he didn't like the idea that anybody was getting religion and politics mixed up. A man ahead of his time in Scotland didn't go down well. So the Montrose Scots also include a core contingent of Irish as well. So you also get Montrose himself and Alistair McCullough to lead the Irish section. And these were the Royalist and Highlanders who fought alongside or for Charles. Always outnumbered, but brutal fighters throughout the English Civil War. So it's a nice way of doing things differently. And if you want to paint tartan on 12.95 Mifty.
13.5.
Sure, whatever.
The best
Number
scale.
one.
Not the
Number
best.
one.
It's that is Wanganum. Yeah, you can do that thing. They'll be available very shortly. So if you want to expand, that's a way to go. Go up north, see what's happening with the Covenanters and the Montrose Irish. It's a little bit different for all the kids at home, I suppose. You don't always have to play in England during the English Civil War. Why not get involved in the Covenant? That's what John Pym did. We have some fantasy next, and these are for Oathmark. The Elven Cavalry are up for pre-order from North Star. So these are a new plastic set of Elven Cavalry, which will allow you to make 15 of the finest hard plastic figures. So obviously multiple options in here for your Elven Cavalry. They can be armed with spear/lance or hand weapons and shields. And they've got that really Tolkien-esque Middle-earth feel that all of the Oathmark figures have. Which means if you're not looking for something that's screaming high fantasy out of the traps, then this is a great way to do it. And obviously the addition of some cavalry is always good to see. I think the humans have had some knights kicking around for a little while, or at least mounted soldiers anyway. And I believe there's militia coming for them in the future as well, which would be handy. So it just adds a new variation to the army list you can put together for Oathmark. In addition to the plastic set, there's also going to be a set of metal characters that you can tack in there if you want to add a bit of wizardry or just some heroes to run around the place and get ruffle stomped by better non-racist races of people, like anybody who isn't an elf.
I will say, what I like about this is they've let elves have horses. You know the way some companies go, oh, you're an elf, you can't just have a horse. You must have the flying unicorn Pegasus, but stallion with the rainbows flying out its butthole. Could
be.
Just let them have horses. Thank you.
Not aware of a particular company that does that, but sure.
Well, fine, I'm being a little bit overkill on it, but most times you don't see elves just getting plain cavalry.
Where do you see the amount of links we get to elves and plain cavalry now?
Don't send them to me, by the way, because I have all these links already. Send them to him.
Well, from what I've seen,
but yes, apart from that, they've also buddied up with Little Big Man Studios to do a range of transfers, like all of Little Big Man stuff that's made bespoke for a particular set of figures. You'll get enough to do all of the shields, and each of the shields has that, unique shape, so they all fit in there. I think I've seen another couple of sets of these, so this may not be the only one that's coming, I think I've seen a green and possibly a red set as the main color themes behind them. So
they look like
nice.
a pain. They look like a pain in the butt to put on, though.
They're not as bad as some. They're a little bit different because they've got an adhesive front. So you cut them out, peel off the plastic protective backing, and then stick them onto the shield.
Which is what I mean, because those shields have a particular shape there that you're trying to line up. It's going to be a pain in the behind.
Well, see, I don't know, because it's a big, gentle curve.
It's
not the curve. It's all the little cutouts at the tops and the sides that I'm talking about.
Maybe.
If you line it to the top, and then trim in. So don't trim tight to the shield to begin with. Actually just get that as your guiding mark across the top of the shield, and then you can worry, because you can always, you're going to end up painting the edges of the shields like they have anyway to sort of mask it in. So at that point, you don't need to worry about hitting it exactly 100% accurately. In fact, I think you can see there that one isn't 100% accurate.
Yeah, if you look at the guy in the middle, you can see the line of where the transfer ends across the top of his shield.
So, yeah,
because it's not like a decal where you can just sort of shift it about with water.
Weirdly, it is. But
can you shift it with the water? But you can't shift it. That's my point.
No. Once it's down, it's down. But it's exactly the same as a water slide, but reversed. Because once you've got it stuck in place, you then use you wet the back of it to use the water to remove the paper backing. Then but
just let's be clear, when he says exactly the same but in reverse.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is that when you put a decal down, you can kind of push it around with a Q-tip or something. Those, I don't think you can do that.
No, 100% you cannot. You're restricted once the adhesive goes down. Don't attempt to pull it back because you'll just fail miserably. And,
but so long as you get those 2 points of contact laid in correctly, you should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. You'll mess up the first couple, use those as your back rank. By the time you get to your front rankers and your champions, you should have your eye in if you've never used them before. But I've done.
So do your dungers in the back first.
Yeah, but I've done a couple hundred now for my Irish, my Vikings. So I don't, and even my little tiny 50mm Crusaders use those as well, which is really fun when you're sticking shields that are like that big around a shield boss. It's a way to do it. Anyway, enough of that. They are on their way. So if you fancy some cavalry for Oathmark, you should be able to pre-order them over on North Star at the moment. Then, speaking of pre-orders, November's almost upon us, and so there's a whole host of pre-orders coming for Dystopian Wars. War Cradle Studios have got a ton coming for November, and they are going to be kicking things off with some Alliance Battle Fleet goodness. So the big honking Korean battle fleet, which contains the huge chunk of resin in the middle, as you can see.
Vive la France.
The carrier comes along with frontline sections, so you can have Chevalier cruisers, chasseurs, and then also a couple of Epaular artillery submarines and 4 of the little écureuils. Probably not how that's pronounced. Frigates as well. The Grand Carrier is an absolute beast of a thing for chucking out all the SRS tokens, sitting as it is on top of the base of the Eiffel Tower.
Maybe not finish it. We ran out of time, boys. It's fine. Maybe
it's just a tribute. This isn't the Eiffel Tower. This is just a tribute. But apart from that, you can also have a version called La Dame Liberté, which has got the big girl right on top there.
Yeah, but hang on.
Yes?
Her arm comes down and her torch is a gun. Just like, I choose you. Make it so. Boom.
I mean, we've all seen Ghostbusters too. We all know she's more than capable of slamming that torch into somebody's head if they need it, including Viggo the Carpathian. So why not? Why not put her on top of a big boat and send her out to take on everybody else in the Dystopian War? I mean, it makes perfect sense to me.
I want her as like one of the full automations, just like walking waist high in the water now.
I just have pictures of them going into battle with a "I want your love." Just
have 4 little Frenchmen spraying pink goo all over it from the base. I mean, it's what we all want to see. So yeah, the Karun class variant there, if you're after a bit of alliance goodness. There's also some battle fleets coming for others. The Falkenstein battle fleet is coming. So if the Imperium need more guns, and let's face it, they always need more guns, then that is definitely doable with this. What appears to be some sort of half deck there.
A small recon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to be catapulting tiny little SRS tokens off that, or if it's just for catching people landing.
Well, there's one there, just dead center.
Just coming up.
Yeah. I always loved the design of these. You know, the idea that if you want to change out what your loadout is, okay, just lift the top deck off, roll the gun carriage off, roll the gun carriage on, good to go.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if there's any alternative versions of the Falkenstein, because that obviously sits in on top of a resin base there. So is the upper deck also changeable, or is it just the front guns on this one with a ton of broadsides as well? As expected, it also comes with some plastic frontline cruisers and destroyers. So there's Volsung Sigmar class.
Let's see him big.
Luker, and the little tiny Totten as well, which I know Justin loves because they're filled with that front gun. Absolute frith.
Jerry, you know my greatest love is submarines and torpedoes in this game. Nope.
Yep. No, you sure?
I'm sure. This is why if I could manage it, I just want a fully flying force. To hell with you and your submarines and your torpedoes.
It's not beyond the realms possibility, but have you seen how many AK I built?
Oh, yeah.
So you can take off all you want, Sonny Jimbo. You'll be coming down fast and hard. Obviously, if you've already got some of these built, then they can be combined into others, because the cruiser sets make multiple various depending on how you want to equip them. So you can do a lot of playing around with it.
Yeah, and if you're clever like Jerry, just don't glue the turrets in.
Yeah, don't glue any of these in. They can all just be swapped out to put whatever you need to onto the tabletop. Last but by no means least, the Egyptians are also getting some reinforcements.
Those are different. Those are very different.
The Sultanate is coming. The Sultanate is coming. And with it comes a whole host of weirdness. So these are the Manjet heavy skimmers, which can be assembled in one of three ways. So you can have the Saba, the Sobek, or the Mesket. And then there's also Hassassin destroyer skimmers, the little Kopesh down front. So you can hover around the place and do people up like kippers. And as always, the ubiquitous SRS tokens. But this is going to be interesting because these apparently play differently from the other Sultanate ships, which we've seen to date, which are very much portal jockeys. They're coming at you from weird angles. I think these are a bit more front and center, straight down Main Street, and they have that really, really distinctive look to them.
Yeah,
I'm getting real vibes of. Do you remember an old movie, Battleship? The aliens in that. That's sort of the design vibes I'm getting off this.
What do you mean, an old movie?
It came out like 6 years ago and was terrible. That Battleship.
Yeah.
So a relatively recent movie.
Well, time is relative.
Yeah, well, that is true. I've never seen it because I heard it was utterly god awful, and I looked at it and went, "Why would I want to see? Why would I want to see a film made based on a "You've Sunk My Battleship" game"? It just seems terrible. Oh, so bad. Anyway, they are all up for pre-order. So if you're planning on picking up any of the Dystopian Wars fun and games in November.
If it had been an old movie, it would probably have been good.
Yes, that's true.
Oh, that is a problem.
I would have never seen it.
Well, no, of course you wouldn't have. I'm trying to think of the time where an American ship went back to World War II. What was that called? That was great. They sailed into a fog bank, and it was like a modern battleship, and they ended up sailing into World War II. It's like, oh, we could stop all of this stuff. And then there's the whole...
So they watched the Philadelphia experiment and said, let's remake that, but different.
No, it may actually be the Philadelphia experiment. Yeah. They sit there and they go, we can't interfere. We'll change the whole course of everything. Because at one point they're talking about stopping Pearl Harbor.
Yeah. Although, Lloyd, you're kind of wrong there. It's actually 11 years old, that movie.
Well, I was the one who guessed how old it was, but at the same time, I've got boots older than that, so
Is it fair?
I think we're still on target with that one.
I got a shirt that I wear that's like 25 years old.
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, Lloyd. Fashion comes back round. Any day now, you're going to be right back at the peak of fashion.
No, my missus keeps saying, oh yeah, the old 2000 styles are coming back. Mullets are coming back. I hate that.
That's not from 2000.
That's from the 80s.
Oh, I know that.
It's all cyclical. It's very retro. I'm saying nothing. Let's move on. Let's move back, actually. Let's have a look at more fantasy Napoleonics, because that always seems to cheer people up. Yes, the Canada book by Ash Barker has been released, and with it, there will be miniatures aplenty coming too. So, as you can see, there's delightful sets of Lower Canada. There's also Upper Canada. There's British and Americans, and then the sort of the trading posts as well are getting their day in court, so to speak. So obviously a whole host of figures coming that way, allowing you to play around and start exploring the frozen frontier and the Northwest Passage sort of neck of the woods, which is always good, clean family fun, I feel.
I want to fight some Wendigos.
Well, it's funny you say that. I mean, there are some coming. They're not a million miles away. There's the trading company. So some of these you may have already seen, and there are already rules for in the main Silver Bayonet book. So Highlanders exist, but these have been sculpted to obviously look like they're fighting that sort of frontier period. So there's a very British/French influence. And then when you hit the irregulars from the trading companies, there's all sorts going on, including things like the werebear, which we've seen for the Russians previously. However, there's also the loup-garou, so you can have a werewolf.
Go back and pick.
That one.
Is that guy all beard and glasses in the middle, the doctor? Is that what he is?
Yes.
All beard and glasses?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, and he's just like, oh no, you're hurt. It's okay. I can fix it with my pistol.
I mean, sometimes it's the only way is just to give them a bit of mercy.
Yeah. Although you can tell the Highlanders up north, just because he's wearing trousers under the kilt.
Hey, well, you know, he's not an idiot by any stretch of the imagination. There'll also be
here we go.
a few monsters coming, including the ridiculously named back Wallenutski wee possibly. Thank you. It hides at the mouth of rivers. It's covered in mouths, as you can see there, and it eats people, generally while crying back, which apparently means eat. So,
well, I mean, it's bound to have a spare mouth to be talking while you're eating.
Yeah. Don't talk with your mouth full. Which one?
Well, it's got one that's not.
Well, I imagine so, but I don't want to see where that is on the model.
Oh, that's a hug I don't want.
Yeah. There's also, like we said, the big Wendigo as well. So
nice.
If you fancy doing something a little bit moosey,
terrifying,
then that's definitely doable as well. So yeah, Canada should be a lot of fun, taking Silver Bayonet into a whole new direction, because up until now we've just been playing in Europe. So it's, I mean, it's good, but there's a whole world of crazy monsters out there that I've never heard of, like the back willy nookie gnocchi see wee, the ring-a-ling-ding-a-ling tree, something.
Yeah, just call it Mr. Backy.
Yeah. And that's before they get to Egypt. Wow.
That is before they get to Egypt, when it's all going to go creepily. If you haven't seen it, we did a whole host of videos for the Silver Bayonet. So myself and Shay have done Let's Plays. Myself and Justin have done some solo plays. And there's even some chats on the channel with Mr. McCullough and discussing the plans for Egypt and beyond.
It is a fabulous system that is easy to slot in on top of your other hobby.
Yeah, so if you look about 2 months ago on the YouTube, you'll find the stuff.
Oh, there's just a big playlist. If you just go to the OnTableTop page, I think the playlist is right there still at the top.
Better.
So boom, in one
you can see all the things.
Ongoing Silver Bayonet contraption. That's what that is. So yes, fun times in Canada.
You like it?
And fun times. Speaking of things that were popular in the previous decades and are coming back again, Seb Games has been working to bring back things like Void with Scotia Grendel in Scotland, and he's now going to be taking a look at Urban War. And Urban War is the small skirmish version. Not version, because they're similar rules but not the same. But small skirmish game based in the same universe as the Void. So the plan is to make the first edition rules available on the website, which I believe they are already. And then in the meantime, they're going to start releasing some of the miniatures again with a view to releasing a new third edition sort of summertime next year. So if people are unaware of Urban War, it's set on one world, Iskander.
When's this from? Is this an old game that's been revived?
This looks very 90s.
So this would have been late 90s, early 2000s.
Do they have mullets?
They don't.
Lloyd, you keep this up, you're going to wake up with a mullet.
It's difficult to tell with the gladiators because they've got helmets on, but there's a potential for mulletism behind there. Because
I've seen these box sets and I went, wow, that is some retro graphic design right there.
Yeah, look, in that first image, I'm not sure if that's a book or a VHS case.
I
think it's a VHS.
It looks like a VHS case.
Yeah, it's a case that contains miniatures and dice. So.
It's all the leftover cases that Mantic didn't use.
They were great. They still are great. I've got so many of those. Anyway, the 4 factions that will be available are the Junkers, starting off with the gladiators there. Then there's also...
like those.
Now we're actually looking at the Junkers.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm pretty sure Junker was part of Gladiators. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I'm getting my crazy old people mixed up.
Oh, careful, Jerry. I see a nursing home in your future.
No, you don't. I'll top myself before that happens. So yes, I think the Gladiators are part of the Junkers. So there's actually 2 packs coming for those crazy people. Syntha, who are sort of high-tech
robots,
Japanese
gone bad
faction. Yeah. Then the Triads as well for a bit of fun and game, and then Vasa and Viridian.
Oh, they're Shays.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you haven't not seen Viridian yet. Look at those. Their creepiness on them.
I kind of like those.
Yeah.
They were always good, clean family fun. The interesting thing about this is the original Urban War, which I can't find my copy. It's in this room somewhere. I found issue 1 though.
That's the mistake you made, putting it in that room.
Well, it should have been beside issue, because that's issue 0. The original plan for the game, and I don't think it's going to work like this time round, was there'd be a bi-monthly magazine.
Mm-hmm.
So this was £4. £4.
And that's the one from the 90s you've got?
Yeah.
Well, of course.
Jerry
only uses original ingredients.
So that book's older than Shay.
Yeah, most of the things. That's really
that's so weird to think about, that there's stuff we haven't used that's older than Shay.
But the magazine contained the rules, so it came out every 2 months, and in it you got stories and background for each of the factions, and then new units. So the initial, that issue 0 was all of the rules, and then it had those box sets for each of the factions. So I want to say it must be 2 per. And then they would gradually add over time, which meant you could dip in and dip out, or if there was a particularly interesting looking gang that you wanted, or squad that you wanted to add in, you could do that. Or if there was an issue came out and you were going, well, there's nothing in that for me, I'm just not going to bother. I don't like the look of that, or I don't like how that particular unit works on the tabletop, then you could just skip over it.
Did you ever play the game?
Yeah.
Or did you just collect the stuff?
No, I played it. We used to play a bit of Void and bits and bobs like that. Way back in the day. So it works on a D10 system, and it's order based.
Yeah.
But within the orders, so there's like 3 overarching orders. So you would ping down who was going to be activating with a Snapfire, Overwatch, and something else. But within each of those orders, you had 6 different actions that could be taken. So you would reveal what they were going to do. Some of the actions would allow you to do moves, some wouldn't. So Overwatch was all based on fire and combat. So if you didn't want to move or you knew that you wanted to be kicking off first, you would go for Overwatch. But if you needed to move around to secure objectives or to get in a better position, then you would have to go for like Snapfire or something, which then made your other weapon attacks and combats less effective. So there was a lot going on.
And what for activations, was it unit by unit, or all of mine goes, all of yours goes?
Oh no, it's back and forth. So
I like that.
You would flip over, and then they activated from when you'd roll for initiative each turn, and then the first person with initiative would then activate their bits and pieces, and then it would flip back and forth, back and forth.
Sounds fun.
So yeah,
did they update the rules, or is it the same rules coming back at us?
But like I said, the ones that you can download from the website now are the original rules, but they are working on a new edition. That leads me to believe they probably won't go for, because I don't think Seb has the capacity for print constant running like a bi-monthly magazine. So
it'll be more of a combined anthology.
Yeah, I think that's probably the way to go, and then tidy up some of the bits and pieces from the actual core rule set as well.
Well, here's the nice thing. With it being an older game, it's already been play tested.
Yeah. That's always handy to have. Let's face it. I'm sure that doesn't necessarily change, though, because people's tastes change over time. Like these days, people don't want a rule set that's good; they want a rule set that's fast.
Exactly. But just because something's old doesn't mean it's good. I mean, let's take mullets for example.
Mullets are terrible
from 20 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Absolute worst thing in the world ever.
You know what's not good from years ago? Lloyd.
Yeah, I did have a mullet at some point.
Oh God, no way! I need to see it. Just
I don't
just
think
for
there's
the
any pictures of my period of mulletness.
Damn it!
I think we're all very, very happy.
I think we know where to go to actually see, because I know there's one being kept for blackmail purposes.
Shocking, absolutely shocking. Right. I think we need to round out this news, and it wouldn't be another week without a ton of GW stuff. So pillows on standby. Get your hot coffee going, and it's all time for a big old nap. It's coming up to Christmas, which means Battleforces are going to be here in a big way. We all know they're coming. And there is a host for both Age of Sigmar and 40k itself. So we're going to be starting off with this Age of Sigmar stuff. And the first out of the traps is the Primordial Star host for the Seraphon. So as you can see, this one was previewed fairly recently. It contains the Slan Starmaster, your Saurus Warriors, some huge Croxagore, and also some Agrodon Lancers and little skinky hunters as well. So a whole star host for you to slam across the tabletop, especially if you want your chameleon skinks to be blowpiping people all over the place.
Oh man, I hate this image so much.
So it's so busy.
There's so much weird photoshopping going on in this image.
Yeah, well, if you look, what are the little pterodactyl things that you can barely see?
These?
Yeah, you can barely see those.
Who'd you call them? Hachiwachis?
Well, it took me about a good 6-7 seconds of looking at the image to go, is there a miniature there? There's a miniature there.
Yeah.
I think it looks like a cool set, though. It's just hard to see anything in this image. Is there any cleaner images? Is that it?
No.
That's it.
That's it. Welcome to the world of Photoshop.
I'll have to go off and inspect all the products individually then.
Yeah,
I will say, John has actually dove into this faction.
Mm-hmm.
This particular one? Wow.
Not this particular box, but this particular faction. So he pulled his trigger before this was announced.
Hard to dive into this box considering this is the future.
Yes.
Where they don't have mullets. Maybe they do. I don't know.
Oh, it's like a Neil mullet.
All comes back into fashion eventually. Don't worry, the mullets will probably all be in the 40k
Even Lloyd will come back into fashion eventually.
Hey!
Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Next up for the Ossiarch Bone Reapers are the Praetorian Spearhead. So this is Arch Calvos Xantos, who I believe is the big fella on his scary bone beast. And alongside him are more tech guards, death riders, a Gothazar harvester, and 4 Morghast Archai, the floaters at the back. Still the most bony looking Necron army I've ever seen.
These are still very Marmite for me, just for how busy they are.
Yeah, so many bumps. Like when you see like it laid out like that, it's just so hard to visualize any of it. It's just like, what am I looking at now?
Creepy bone things. I thought you knew.
Creepy bone.
I mean,
things.
if you're someone that loves painting with your contrast, this will work really well because every single miniature has no smooth surfaces, really.
I would guess that's why it's done that way.
Yeah.
It's the Age of Sigmar version of the dry undead. They are the worst undead. Better undead are the wet undead. So the Vengorian Count and his court. As you can see, there is that. I remember that miniature coming out, and we spent a lot of time trying to work out what was going on with it. But the Vengorian Lord can be built as Lukavai, the Mother of Nightmares, as well. And then there's also Blood Knights, Death Rattle Skeletons, a host of direwolves, and even some fell bats as well.
Hey, I've got a box of those skellies.
Yes, they are the least bat-winged skellies.
Exactly. And they only ever released one box, so I never built it.
Just one box, yeah.
Because I had nothing to add to it. I was like,
you could add.
But they got batty wings. I wanted stuff more in that style continuous because I thought that's the coolest stuff you've done in ages. And then they released nothing more to go with it.
Well, then buy
in
the
that
doggos.
Style. No.
Buy the doggos. They're not bat-winged.
Well, what they got to do with...
They're undead.
Yeah, but
that's what they've got to do with it. They're undead.
Yeah, but those skeletons are amazing. And then they released no more. More of that. I want a whole army of that.
Slavic-looking skeletons.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Lloyd, look at the bad Photoshop on the base of that miniature.
I'm trying not to look at any of the Photoshopping.
For fear of having an aneurysm.
I'm glad it means nothing to me, O Vienna. Last out of the traps then for Age of Sigmar is the War Horde of Eternus. So if you like your Chaos Warriors, this is the way to go. The Horde can be set up so you can either have them serving Be'lakor or Archon himself, which means you could run these as Swords of Archon if that was still a thing. Or you can just make some of these people as sort of generic Chaos worshippers as well. So you've got your Chaos Lord on Demonic Mount, the Chaos Knights, Chaos Warriors on foot, of which there are many, and then some of the Orgoths, Orgroids, the not Minotaur / not Ogres, the bastard offspring twixt Minotaur and Ogre, these at the back.
Unfortunately, the twain did meet.
Well, there's nothing too bad about that. But yeah, fairly standard box of Chaos Warriors. You can't really go wrong with Chaos Warriors. Can't mess it up. It's very simple. Just push them forward. Haven't seen any Chaos Marauders in a long time.
Is you got a good point though? The Chaos Warriors have stood the test of time. They're just Chaos Warriors.
Yeah. I will say none of the battle forces this year are really inspiring me or exciting me.
Can I use these Chaos Warriors in the old world?
Technically, yes. There's nothing stopping you.
But Games Workshop might not want you to.
Because I'm more excited about the old world at this point, and I'm like thinking, who the heck's going to be buying these big boxes of Age of Sigmar right in the mouth of Christmas with the old world coming next year? Who?
Well, I mean, we've got 4 in here that are about to dive into Sigmar.
So there's me proven wrong then.
Well, it's something we were discussing. So we're all going to dive in with like one of the Vanguard boxes and a couple of extra units just around the New Year time. So you've got myself, Shay, John, and our buddy Adam are all diving in. So
even though the old world's just round the corner.
Yeah, but the old world's going to be coming through Forge World, and my bank account wouldn't stick that.
Oh, I didn't realize this. So that Protonian stuff going to be...
It's all going to... A lot of it's going to be coming through Forge World, so it's going to be hella expensive.
Is this for reals?
Some of the characters and monsters will be resin.
Oh, that's all right. I don't care about that.
So instead of being metal and plastic, like it would have been today, it'll be resin and plastic.
But the main box sets are going to be plastic.
Majority of the core boxes.
There we go. Yeah. Sweet, wee buns.
Your big... Your very bucket that you like so much, it's going to be
resin. Lovely.
Yeah, I don't want to have to take out a mortgage just to buy a miniature.
Right, but these days, Forge World is the budget arm of Games Workshop.
Yeah, because the resin ones aren't going to get bought. it's just going to, like, if I was doing it, I'd buy the plastic boxes, and then anything that's a resin from Forge World, I would just go and get a 3D printed version of it instead and get someone to print it
I suppose
for me.
if you're never going to like an official event, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't go to official events.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Lloyd fixed that one.
It's never happening. They wouldn't let you in the door at an official event. Anyway, there's a whole host of 40k as well. War hosts in many respects. Starting off with everybody's favorite sci-fi faction, the Leagues of Votann.
Yeah.
So Defenders of the Ancestors are coming with the big space buggies. Leading the way.
Speaking of space buggies, did you see the buggy-looking mining type thing that was released for Kill Team?
I'm going to say yes, because I think we looked at it a few weeks ago.
Because I think it would work well with the Votans.
Maybe.
It
At
would make
least
sense.
in this box, they're not using their crap infantry.
Right. Do they have some of that?
They have crap infantry.
Yeah,
crap looking or crap performing.
Crap looking.
Mm.
At least it's all the big heavy armored guys in this, which I'm okay with. The lighter armored guys, I'm not so much a fan of.
I honestly couldn't tell them apart from Adam. So, but yeah, with the Votann, you've got your Einhir champion, the Hearthguard, the Hecaton Land Fortress, Grimnir, and a Sagatar ATV, which is the little one on the side here that should have Rockhound on the back, firing wildly at everybody because he owes too much money and doesn't want to go home.
I always see their vehicles as just like Space Winnebago.
I mean, it's one way of doing it. They're just they're very aren't they? Clean. I like this guy though on his floating rock stilts.
Oh, you like the Dwarven Space Wizard?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but more of that. Why not? Why not just go the whole hog? It can't be terrible, can it? Surely, no.
Might jump the shark.
I wouldn't worry about it. The problem is sharks jump back in Warhammer 40,000. So the beasts Snaga Stampede with all the big sharky Snaga things are coming your way. We have in here the legendary Moz Rog Scragbad. So that's a heck of a name right off the bat. So Beast Boss on Squigosaur. There's also the Boys and Knobs on Smash of Squigs. And then a Hunter Rig with a Werboy and your command squad with Pain Boy and Orcs as far as the eye could see. Savage Orcs in space.
That's probably the coolest of the sets.
It's definitely got a certain something about it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what the snakeskin? Is that it?
Oh, Snake Bites?
Snake Bite. I'm trying to remember the name. It's been so long. The feral orcs who were just, running around the place beating people with sticks because they couldn't afford guns.
Yeah.
That was always a good way to go. And this is very much like that.
I see. I've got an orc force on the go now, and I'm in a toss-up. Do I go Goths? Do I go Bad Moons?
Yes.
Goths have teeth, so that's kind of where I'm leaning.
My confusion comes from the fact that anybody would separate them, because it used to be an orc army was just all the clans came together. You just put, if you wanted knobs and power armor, then there's your Bad Moons and stuff like that. But
yeah, but special rules for clans.
Yeah, I don't care. Just put them all together. It's more fun that way. Why limit yourself to one color palette? Why limit, especially with orcs, where you're meant to look like a riot of color coming screaming at you over the horizon? Just go, I'll do a bit of everything.
Raptag Rebel Band.
Yeah. Speaking of, Cadian Defense Force is also coming as well. A mighty Cadian platoon, because let's face it, that's all it is. A command squad and 20 infantry, plus support and a couple of tanks. It's a reinforced platoon, including 2 of the Rugel Dorn tanks. So these are the ones that are susceptible to mines because they don't have a bottom. Is this
yes.
What do you mean they don't have a bottom?
They don't have a belly plate on the miniature kit.
There's no. Oh, I see. So if you turn over, it's just open.
Yeah. But it also means you can put your miniatures inside, stuff them in there for ease of transportation. I mean,
my orcs will just loot one of those, and you'll just see the orc feet sticking out the bottom.
It's an excuse to put lighting kits in them and drill out some of those lights.
Sure,
you could do.
Yeah, you do. Nobody
you want to put a tiny smoke machine in the barrels as well, Lloyd?
I might put a tiny smoke machine in the barrels, because you can also get oils that are specifically designed to smell like steam engines and stuff, and they would do for like putting in the engine.
Oh, how glad I am Lloyd never took up vaping.
That's pretty much, I'm planning on taking a vape next year just to blow smoke all over my train sets.
Shocking. There is a few more to get through, so we'll plow into those before you derail this with talk of trains. Space Marine are getting a spearhead, adding in some of the new intercessors with jump packs, the little quads, bikes, and a captain with jump pack. Not, as many people expected, a lieutenant. Maybe lieutenants are on their way out. I don't know.
No, they've been at war long enough. They've just ranked up.
No, well, that also works.
Why is this not White Scars, though?
Because you can paint them wherever way you want. And blue is the poster boys of the game.
Yeah, I know.
Can't really argue with that. Knids are getting an onslaught swarm, which looks a bit more spectacular than 3 bikes and a buggy. Yeah. Just saying. In the grand scheme of things, Marines are getting the short shrift for once. Who would have thought that?
Yeah.
But yeah, the Knids, 2 massive bio-titans, so the Hive Tyrant and a Swarm Lord, and enough Hormigans, Stealers, and Ripper Swarms to keep you feasting away on all the genetic code of those blue boys you can find for as long as possible. Why not eat some orcs?
Weren't you saying, Shay, you had hoped there were Termagants in this one instead of Hormigants?
Yeah, I prefer Termagants. They're better.
Guns?
Yeah.
Sit back and shoot.
Yeah.
Don't they come as a build them either way sort of set?
Nope.
No, they are still
kits.
2 separate kits.
Oh.
You're thinking of the kit from way back.
Yeah.
In the 80s when people had mullets. It's not the same anymore. Right. Finally, the forces of Choss are getting a huge Exalted of the Red Angel battle force with the Demon Primarch of Khorne himself, Angry Ron, in there. Unexpected, considering how nebulously generic most of the other sets are. Sticking a Primarch right front and center is a bit mad.
This one confused me, because if you already own Angeron, why would you ever buy this?
Well, you wouldn't, would you?
You should want another Angeron.
The Angeron twins.
Yeah.
Angry and Ron, his brother.
Oh my God! What happened to the Alpha Legion?
That makes sense.
Just eBay them all.
I mean,
Galper.
I imagine they've thought about this and looked at it and went, "This is a really good set." Possibly with the Exalted 8-bound, of which you get 6, by the way. And I can't help but feel like they missed a trick there by not having 8, but maybe that's just me. And then obviously Khorne Berserkers as well.
Oh.
So, what?
You sure you got 6 there?
One.
Oh,
two, 5,
the other
6,
the other one's behind our heads. I couldn't see him there.
You can see it. Hang on. Ta-da.
No, still can't see him.
Oh, but people at home can, because I just shifted it on my screen. It doesn't shift it on yours. But yeah, so there you have it. A whole host of battle forces for Age of Sigmar and 40k. I imagine there's going to be more, because otherwise there's 6 40k and only 4 Age of Sigmar ones.
I mean, can we remember how many were brought out last year?
No, I can't. I'm not even going to attempt it. But
I don't think there'll be any more. I think that's it. I think they're done.
That's it. I
think by now it's set in stone, ready for Christmas.
I think that's what they said in the community post, is that's it. I think it's right at the bottom.
Oh, wow.
That's it. We're too busy with the old world. Take this and run with it.
Yeah, that and bringing back Epic Not Epic, which we screwed up on.
Well then, that'll be this Legio Imperial. No, it's not Legio Imperial.
It's not epic unless it's 13.5 mil.
Actually, it may be 13.5 mil because they've said it's 8 mil, and we know that they can't count scale. So their 8 mil epic could indeed be 13.5. Time will tell. Anyway, they're all available to order right now. You can even order them from store.ontabletop.com.
Jerry, give us a swing. Give us a swing. Swing.
Right, enough of that. We shall away and return to wrap out the show.
Did you win one of our prizes? Find out on our prize claim center over at OnTableTop.com. Here we list all our previous prizes and those who have won. If you see your username, fill out the form to claim your prize. All prizes must be claimed within 30 days.
Okay, we're back, and we have a couple of Kickstarters to take a look at to round out the show. And the first is an ungodly amount of stuff. So this is from Sol
Goodman. Sol Goodman.
No, not Sol Goodman. This is from SolGood Creations, but it's being used for a charity sort of event to help pay to feed people in Ukraine because of the ongoing war there. And they've got on board about 30 collaborators now who have all donated various STL files, everything from massive dioramas through to individual sort of ships and 28mm fantasy, sci-fi, or post-apocalyptic. So whatever you play, there is something in here that will probably work for you, or even if you just fancy picking the stuff up to use for a whole sort of, painting extravaganza, or maybe, terrain fest. Styly, it's all there. Everybody has donated their services / files for this, which means there's no merchant pledge in here. They're not giving these away for people to then print and make money off them. This is just about fundraising for people in Ukraine, and the more people who back, the more people can be fed. And you can see here some of the examples of some of the files that are in here in the Unleashed Fury. There is a absolute boatload. In fact, I'm just going to start scrolling because we won't be finished today if I don't.
Yeah, holy Hannah, 1,600 STLs.
Could be. Some of those may be full miniatures, some of those may be bits. Go nuts.
It's all gorgeous from what I've seen so far.
Oh yeah, they've got decent people on board. They haven't just found dungers to throw in files.
Oh no, that's
they've
that's like wowie.
There's all sorts of spectacularness in here. So, say the big diorama stuff, including, look at that poor kobold.
Please don't grab the sword. I swear it's cursed.
Well, he's probably just saying, "Please, I've got a wife and 2 daughter kobolds at home. Please don't kill me." But even though a lot of this stuff is, the diorama-wise, is scaled larger for painters, a lot of it can then be sort of scaled down to 28mm or whatever you happen to print and play at to use, because there's whole armies worth of stuff in here, from all sorts of weirdness, like the Swarmlord sort of stuff, which is a bit chaotic and marine-y, but the Nid-like stuff that's going to be coming up, Shay, wait until you see what that is like, because there's creepy monsters crawling out of bug holes, ships glued to the ground with bug juice, and then a whole host of the skittering swarmy things here, there, and everywhere. As you can see, the big biomechanical powered armored men are there.
So get
some sort of terribleness.
Oh, I love that pose.
So get like 1,600 STLs and don't back anything else for the next 10 years because you're going to be too busy.
You're just going to be printing out the Great Stellar Swarm from now until the end of time.
I backed their previous Kickstarter to help Ukraine, and I still haven't printed a quarter of the stuff that's on it. It's ridiculous.
Look at them. Look at the scuttling bug-faced things creeping all over the planet, trying to lick you, see what you taste like, see whether or not you're worth eating. You're always worth eating.
See, Warren could use some of these for the Starship Troopers he's talking about as the big bugs.
Yeah.
Like if you printed these out 28mm size, they would just be big bugs for the armies.
I love these ones.
These snipers, the survivors.
Yeah, those are gorgeous.
They're really nice figures. Again, even though a lot of these are set up to be as part of a display, certainly for the sort of the 5 big ones, as you get further through it, you'll find a greater divergence in stuff. But even then, I mean, having a set of these, running them as pathfinders for Dead Zone would work quite well. See, like bug-covered things, Shay.
Oh.
All covered in bug juice with
gooiness.
Creeping out.
It's Gilbert Snot.
Could be that.
Ooh, the ship's cool.
Yeah, the ship's even better when it's glued to the ground. That'll teach you for being all shippy. don't fly over the bugs. They'll knock you out of the air. I'm just going to do this and then do this to give you an idea of what's coming, because that's just the first of 5, and then that's not including the additional collaborators they brought in from other places. So Ezra, the Burning Flame, the Paladin, standing on the defeated, could be dragon, could be a demon. Depends on what way you want to tell your own story there. But that's a big, fiery thing coming at you like Cleopatra. And there is the self-said dragon. Shame Ben isn't here because he loves dragons.
Everybody loves a good dragon.
He'd be beside himself with that. I've seen fly of dragons. Most dragons are assholes, including Brea. He's the worst. Flight of dragons. Kobolds a Gugu.
Yeah.
And onwards and downwards.
Incidentals for your treasure.
You're doing my eyes in. You're going to have to stop.
I love the design on these tanks, though.
We're not
They're
even
very
halfway,
cool.
Lloyd.
Well, do it like that. Yeah. And then move on again.
This is terrible. Look at me. I'm going to have to work out my finger now. The Death Race / cybernetic stuff here is particularly wacky. I really like the look of these.
Cyborg dog. Adorable.
It looks so happy as it removes most of your upper thigh.
Yeah, well,
chomp.
Yay.
It's not K9, it's K10.
Boom,
that was terrible.
It was meant to be.
Leave it on the wave behind, Shay. Just roll with it. Boom, boom, the unicycle droid as well. I mean, I'm not sure what I would use them for. There's one for Lloyd. Thunderscream, the jet cyborg.
I do like this, yeah. This is cool.
Good shot on the bot war.
It's very Insecticon looking there.
But the surfer boy cyborg biker, who also comes with his own jersey barrier with help on it. I mean, it's one way of doing it. I keep seeing videos online of people doing this, and then they wipe out, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Can't get any funnier for me. The old desert road. And then we're into fantasy with the horrific summoning. Look at that, coming screaming through some sort of Stargate.
I mean, if you didn't want a Slan priest,
feed it to this monster.
Yeah.
It's a good way of getting rid of Slan priests. I'm with you on that. It's absolutely fantastic for Cthulhu.
Fabulous.
So, I mean, if people are thinking about getting into the Cthulhu cohorts war game, the Roman ancient Cthulhu game coming from Modiphius, then that might be something that you could have your players attempt to put back in the hole. They won't. They will get killed. But it'll be amusing watching them try and fail. Look at that. There's a corrupted priest. How can you tell he's corrupted? Is it the tentacles? He didn't have tentacles when he started. When he entered the priesthood, he was fine. We were all fine here. It was perfectly natural. And then he ended up like a lunatic, screaming into the mouthless void. And then the mouthless void screamed back. So it's good times. And those, I've seen Hook Beast like that before. I think CP models do some creepy, possibly small scale, little Hook Beast creatures. They're just not right.
Gotta love a good Shield Maiden.
Well, Barbarian, go full Frozen North.
Mm-hmm.
Jaxo Jackson, creator of Paxo stuffing. So that's where he made his money. You're not going to make any money going out there into a pit and fighting a tentacled priest. You've got to find some way to diversify, Shay. Hence the stuffings.
I do like how fleshed out each of the sections are. It's not just like, oh, I've done a bit for this. I've done like nearly a full range of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
For each section.
Each of the diorama, the big 5 diorama sections are utterly insane. Any of them by themselves would be a substantial Kickstarter.
Some alternate vampire count stuff there is great.
All of them together is just absolutely spectacular. There's Plandra, the horned necromancer. Look, there's a zombie. Hello. It's good times are had by all. Come, friends. It is spoopy season. Time to be spoopy together.
I need minions to trick or treat, so I get more candy.
No, bad. No trick or treating. Not American. Damn boy. Shay, go and roll up a newspaper. Hit him on the nose. The vampiric bat. This reminds me of Van Helsing, the one with Hugh Jackman in it.
Yeah.
At one point, Dracula turns into something not dissimilar to that and leaps around the ceiling a bit. Oh, it's a bit viciously creepy and weird.
We need a Van Helsing 2.
Yeah, they never made one. Terrible shame. I think it's because nobody's seen Van Helsing 1. That's a main reason we never got a follow-up. Yeah. Look, there's a vampire hunter, apparently. I don't know if he hunts vampires or he is a vampire and he hunts. Could go either way.
Nice zombies.
And then...
Wet Undead, just for you, Jerry.
Yep, best undead. Again, the whole scenic dioramery base.
Yeah,
Get it from the Kings of War.
Scroll back up a bit to the guy on all fours.
Man, we've only just got halfway.
All fours guy. This is an option. Keep going. You could have, keep going on to the painted version. You could have zombies riding zombies.
Yes, you could.
Need to find some halfling zombies.
You could also make a hell of a human centipede if you printed it out a few times.
Veto.
Wouldn't even have to do any converting or anything. You could just go right ahead. Just cut and paste. Control V 3 times. Is that how 3D printing works? I don't know. I've never seen a 3D printer. Anyway, that is, I think, the last of the 5 dioramas. So, you know, you've got your post-apocalyptic, you've got your sci-fi, you've got your fantasy, you've got your horror. There was something else in there as well. But then after that are the collaborators. Like I say, there's nearly 30 of them who have all offered stuff.
We only just got to the collaborators. Wow.
Yeah, that's why I was saying I couldn't stop and go back, Lloyd.
Mm.
There's just too much to get through. And
People
again,
need to listen to Jerry more.
It's a no. He fades out.
I see why we've skipped the 3D printing section this week.
Yeah. You can see, can't you? Because we're not even. I mean, there's number 5. But again,
some of the heroes in amongst this are gorgeous.
I want that.
Big
I want
names.
some of those.
You want to do some Battlestar Galactica fighting?
Second Dynasty does absolutely spanking stuff as far as a whole host of traveler-based starships go.
Oh yeah, they're the guys who did the big modular one.
Yeah, so several big modular ones.
Man.
Yeah. So yeah, if you are interested in 3D printing, there is almost undoubtedly something for you in this. Maybe with the exception of full-on historical wargamers, and I don't think any of them bother with 3D printing. I can't be entirely certain. There might be 2 or 3 in the world.
No, they're historical gamers. They probably still use a dot matrix.
Sure. Could be that. But if you're into your fantasy, sci-fi, and post-apocalyptic stuff, then they've got you covered in spades in here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a case of finding the sort of bits and pieces you want to throw in. Look, even little token sets, could use them for all sorts of games. And you two can play. Like, there's a turtle. Shay, what noise does a turtle make?
No.
Anyway, you can use it for Mighty Empires then. So yeah, there we are, halfway through the supporting acts. And as you can see, still so many more to go.
I love all the ancillary bits that they've got mixed in amongst here.
They've really, I mean, the amount of people who've got involved and the amount of kit that's been added to this is just insane.
They might be useful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for your Deathcore.
Yeah.
If you ever get around to starting them. Have you
If I can
started?
maybe I can give it.
That's
where that ends.
Very good for Necromunda, as well as 1-page rules and 40k. And then, I mean, there's some amazing painters scale stuff. The 75 mils, the busts, the 90 mils. They're just absolutely corking.
Yeah.
Are you laughing at him?
No, I'm just laughing at the shark.
Oh, the shark.
What? He went
over his
fishing.
shoulder. I mean, it's good because once he hits you with it, it will also bite you. So there's a lot going on there. And even terrain.
Some Gothic style terrain, yeah.
And I don't know what they are.
They're adorable.
They've got that strange, creepy anglerfish glue thing going on, presumably for flies and small fairies to flutter around, and then they eat them. spent a lot of
All
time.
right, I was thinking it was just like you're in a dark cave. Human goes, "What's that light?" Nom head.
Nope, that's for sticking their tongue into dark holes so they can illuminate it first and then put their tongue in.
Make sure they know what's going on.
So they don't have to worry about the refrigerator light.
No, pretty much.
They brought their own.
Well, it's the way to do it, isn't it? But yeah, we are iterating towards the end of the collaborators. Ember Smith, There Be Giants, Asgard. I think Signum is one of the last.
I'm assuming we're not seeing all 1,600 things here, though.
Oh, you might be, because some of these are full of
that's a great set. The ruined walls and stuff.
Signum in there as well. So yes,
and then you can add an extra 50.
All sorts of extra stuff if you want to add in other bits and pieces or pick them up at your leisure.
How much is the base pledge?
So the base pledge, I think is, there we go, $65 for the core set. And then if you want to get the all-in, $103, so 85 quid, thereabouts, for everything that you see there.
Oh, there is a merchant.
Is there? I thought.
Yeah, there.
That may be just the stuff that they've done. Yeah. So the other stuff that comes in the collaborator packs aren't in there because they're not theirs to sell. But yes, if you're interested in picking up all of the STLs and supporting a very worthwhile cause as well at the same time, then Battle Cries Unleashed Fury from SolGood Creations. It's got 14 days left. It's already funded, so you can fill your boots to the absolute hilt. Mm-hmm. And speaking of boots,
and never buying again for, like I said, 10 years.
10 years.
Because printing it's just one thing. Imagine trying to paint it all.
You just store it all on a hard drive and never do anything with it.
Yeah, well,
it's
here's the thing,
miniature collection.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's not like you're buying 10 years worth of miniatures kits. These will be in your hard drive and you won't see the pile of shame.
It's all ones and zeros. It's not real miniatures.
That's true.
Right. Our final Kickstarter is the ubiquitous U-Boot itself, or U-Boot, rather, I suppose it would be. So this is PHALANX Games' reprint of the multi award-winning U-Boot ship game. We had a quick look at this last week before telling John it was coming and he'd have to back it, which I believe he did in no short order. But it's your chance to get your hands on a new version of it. If you missed out the first time round, because it's been out of print for years and people have been dying to lay their hands on it. It's a game where you can play either solo or cooperatively to complete the missions with your U-Boat. And then you can choose to pick it up in a couple of different ways. One is with the substantially spectacular collector's edition with the plastic U-Boat, and the other is just the regular core version.
Oh, this is cool.
Cardboard version.
Did you say it's plastic?
So that's a plastic.
So I don't have to print this or anything. It comes like that.
Yeah,
you will get the physical thingy thing.
Oh yes, 90 centimeters. That's
90 centimeters long. Mm-hmm. Just
invigilate me, and I'll show the people. Look at that.
That only works if their screen is the same size.
Look, compared to me.
But compared to you, that is
a lot of people haven't seen a Lloyd for scale.
What?
Just taking it off the screen there, Lloyd. You're saying 90 centimeters is that big? That's
look compared to me, 90 centimeters. Look at that. Wow. Is this big enough?
He's gone wrong.
Is this
he's
big
not right.
Can we use this for what's the scale is this compared to 28 mil minis?
It's not. It's
it
would be close to 20 mil, 1/72 would be about right. Anyway.
But no, this is definitely a game you don't want to miss, because we did a Let's Play on this the first time they brought it through, and it's such a nice, self-contained, like pressure cooker game. You feel the time constraints. You feel like you are under the sea, running out of oxygen, taking damage. And I know, Jerry, you're okay-ish with the fact that it runs with an app.
No.
Wait a minute. What does it mean, plastic U-Boat model not for retail?
You'll only be able to get the collector's edition with the plastic U-Boat.
Yeah. You'll never get the plastic U-Boat in retail.
The retail version is not that. It's a multi-layered cardboard U-Boat, which we should see.
Yeah, which is somewhere. Just built into the base game.
Yeah.
There it is.
So there you go. So, I mean, you've still got it. It's there. It's nice. It's coloured.
Which one did John go for?
It's
plastic.
John.
You went for the full plastic? Yeah.
Went all in. with the neoprene gaming mat and everything.
Ooh.
I mean, why would you not? If you're going to do it, go the whole hog.
Yeah. But no, John doesn't like board games, and he likes this board game.
I mean, it's an interesting way of doing it. I'll give you that, because the app both directs and is used in game as well to track the ships that you're countering or the things that you're coming up against. So it can actually be used like a periscope as well.
Yeah, well, the key thing for it is you're telling the app what speed you're doing, what your course is, and then you track that on the paper sheets and stuff. Yeah. So you can actually get lost if you're not careful.
So we have a Let's Play of this, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Yep. When it first came to Kickstarter, we have a Let's Play. We'll see about maybe linking it below.
Yep.
But no, this was such a fun game.
So there you see little app.
Ooh. Hey, magnet holes! That's what I was thinking of doing, of magnetizing.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly one way of doing it. I magnetized my 28mm U-boat. Because otherwise...
Look at you, you big show.
That would be madness. People would just knock it, and then your U-boat would end up all over the place, and I don't want that. Anyway, it's a spectacular looking game. This bit is the only, I mean, I like all of this. I like the compasses and the dials, and just sitting there with your paper mats out and calipers and rulers and measuring stuff. I'm not sure about the whole appness of things, because as people often tell me, you're fine with an app until the app stops being supported, and then your game just has to sit on your shelf and you can't use it anymore.
Why does it say not final graphics? So they making updates to the app?
More than likely.
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know how much the app was used in the initial version. It seems like this new one, they're upping the graphics and other bits and pieces in there beyond just being tracking where your boat is to actually being in a position to show you shooting down ships and stuff like that.
Oh, I see why they've got not final graphics on this. Was that the developers? Did they Photoshop themselves into the game?
I have no idea.
I think they might have.
I've never asked them. It's certainly an interesting question, and one that may come down.
I'd Photoshop me in if it was my game with a mullet.
Yeah, but the app does a lot of like background work for you, because whenever you're on like your radio operator, you're actually tuning to try and find where your targets are, and then you actually have to set course and depth. And then, of course, if they notice you, they will start chucking depth charges at you.
Down bubble and away you go. You mean over there? That's what
yeah. I think they Photoshopped themselves in. I would.
Yeah, I believe that is the team.
Why not? You're only young once. And if people are going to buy your game, why not have your face all over your own game?
Yeah, that way they'll notice you whenever you're at conventions.
Very true. Very true. So yeah, the game is already funded and is going great guns. And as you can see, there's a whole host of playthroughs and the like from the first time round. As far as I'm aware, none of the actual gameplay has changed from the initial release. This is just a reprint and maybe a refresh on the app side of things. Or it might just be that video is from the original Kickstarter and they just haven't done a new video, in which case the graphics may already be finalized. They just haven't bothered showing them in there. So
maybe
could go either way. But there's 7 days left, fully funded. And if you want a chance to get that big plastic submarine, then that is the only way. Otherwise, you'll have to make do with cardboard like a peasant. Terrible, terrible peasant. Right. That wraps us up for another week. Don't forget, we shall return on Sunday morning for the XLBS for our Cult of Games members. You can join us over on tabletop.com. And if you're not already a cultist, you can join us with a 30-day free trial. Otherwise, get the last of your terrain stuff done and dusted, for we'll be picking them next week. And don't forget to check out the prize center over on tabletop.com to see if you've won a previous prize, because there's a few going begging at the moment. And we will see you next week. Until then, have a great week of gaming. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.